license. Ready? Okay. I'd like to call to order the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City. It's the morning docket. Today is Thursday, September 26, 2016. This is the 11 a.m. docket where regular items will be heard, hardships, transfers, expansions, and new license requests. If you have a cell phone, please silence it so it does not interrupt the proceedings. When your case is called, please step forward, state your name into the microphone, and if you're going to be giving testimony, please be prepared to be sworn in. I'll be moving to the regular items, calling docket number one, Mrigenda Homagain, Sandipt Corella, and Stephen Morgan, Cantha Incorporated. The trade name is pending. It's 5511 Bel Air Road. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. It's an application to transfer ownership.
For the record, Melvin J. Kanensky, 19 East Fayette Street, representing the applicants in this case. It's an application to transfer an existing license at the location. It's been there for quite some time. The prior owners are here. One of the employees is going to stay on, Jessica, who has the alcohol awareness. She's going to help them through the transition. I think we have...
Before you go any further, and good morning, Mr. Kanensky, can we just have the people identify themselves and raise their right hands?
Mrigendra, home again.
There are the three license. There for the report. That's the three licensees. Go ahead.
Sandeep Koirala.
Stephen Morgan.
And did you say someone else is going to give some testimony?
Jessica, man, you guys stand up, Jessica. I'd like to see you.
We'd like to see her and get her name on the record,
Your name
please.
on the record here.
Jessica Redding.
Okay, and we all be sworn by the reporter, please.
Just 1 second. Raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, thank you. You may resume, Mr. Kanensky.
For the record, it's a transfer of existing licenses. The Jessica is going to stay, and she's been there the last 15 or 16 years. Mr. Homigan is going to operate the place. They met and they talked with the Frankfurt Improvement Association. I think it's in your packet, but
We
I'll
have a
send it.
letter, yes. Just give it to Ms. Russell, please.
And then I don't know if Harbell had sent the letter in also
We
along the
didn't.
line.
We don't have the Harbell letter. If you have it.
No.
Oh, we just got it. I'm sorry.
Hot
Sitting
off
right
the
next
press,
to me.
as they say.
Thank you. Okay.
Usually down the street, they say showtime, but here we say hot off the press. In the addition, there's a letter from a neighbor across the street, Mike, from
give
Mike's
that to Ms.
Automotive. Oh, I'm sorry, you just want me to hand it up there?
Please, so she can mark it, and then we'll.
And then there's also, what's letters from some people had come in to voice their approval. There won't be any changes in the operation. It's a small neighborhood place. They do some check cashing.
Is it a liquor store or is
No,
it
it's
a
BD7,
what?
BD7
Oh,
Tavern.
okay.
This is the Mike's Automotive letter.
Okay.
And the alcohol awareness, Jessica Redding has the alcohol awareness. She's going to stay on with them. Then the other licensee is going to take the alcohol awareness and be fingerprinted. They are familiar with the rules and regulations of the liquor board. There'll be the same type of operation, no changes in the operation of the particular establishment. It's been on Blair Road for a long time. I don't know. I usually like to say after Prohibition, but I get sort of worn out on that.
Your name is Stacy?
Jessica Redding.
Jessica, I'm sorry. And your last name is
Redding.
Redding. Okay, so Ms. Redding, how long have you worked there?
15 years.
Okay, and what do? You manage the place? Okay, and just tell us a little bit about the operation, please.
It was a check cashing, and we're still going to continue to do that, but it's also a bar and a liquor store.
Okay, and these gentlemen who are going to get the license, do they have experience in running such a place?
Reagan's been with me for the past few months now. I've been training,
Okay,
and I'm going to still be there to assist.
okay. Do the commissioners have questions?
Well, I think the real issue on a transfer, one is the license that's being transferred still valid, and I think our inspectors have done the work to substantiate that. But the next question is, what do we know about the people to whom the license is being transferred? And at this point, we don't know anything about the people to whom it's being transferred.
Well, they have,
I would want to have some testimony
Yeah,
about
the-
that, please.
we'd asked them to include in your record a part of the questionnaire that has their background information on it. I think it should be in your packet, but I'll have them testify. Can
That
you
would be
move
helpful.
over a second, Jessica?
Yeah, I'm not sure we have that, Mr. Konecki, so go ahead.
They don't give them that?
We have the application, but I think it's
don't give 'em the-
helpful.
Let me just take a quick look here. I'm not trying to cause trouble here, okay?
So what I would be interested
You
in,
don't have these?
yeah, I have that, but I'd like to hear some testimony
Of
about,
course, I was just saying, because that usually tells them where they, go ahead, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
No, it tells you where they're employed and all that. I just didn't know whether, okay.
I think really what I'm looking for is some information about their experience in working in a setting like the one to which this license is going to be transferred.
State your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Mrigendra Homagan. My address is currently 10835 Catron Road. We just moved about a month ago from 21 Lerner Court. I've been in doing IT consulting for retail stores, mostly liquor stores, getting their computer systems and their ID scanners and all that for about 12 years now. So I'm familiar with how the liquor store operates as far as the IT is concerned on that store, and their point of sale systems that does the selling, and ID scanners that checks the ID, how they do their inventory. I also help them do liquor stores inventory, and I've been doing this for about 12 years now, and I'm self-employed.
And now, along with, you've been indicated you've been working over with Jessica the last 3 or 4 months, meeting the people in the neighborhood coming in. Is that correct?
Yes, I've been since June 1st. I've been there working with Jessica, knowing the people there. I've met a couple of friends up there too, and I know most of the people that come into the bar at this moment.
And are the other licensees going to be directly involved?
I think Sandeep's probably going to help out part-time. Steve, he's the city resident on it. I don't think he's going to be involved. He's going to serve as the 1%. If they would need him, but I don't think so. He may come in to have a popper once in a while, but I think that'll be about it.
Have you taken the alcohol awareness?
Not
course.
at this time. I got a message that when I should be taking it, so I just waited.
Okay. At what age do persons purchasing alcohol need to be identified?
Well, when I tell the people, when I help them open a new store, I tell them if anybody looks younger than 40, or if you're not sure, card them.
Okay.
It's always safe to be, better to be safe and make sure that we're not serving the minor. So if somebody doesn't look old or is not old, then just go ahead and card them. It doesn't matter if they're even 40 years old.
Okay. Right, because we've always said that if you're carded, it's usually a compliment if you're old enough. And from whom do you buy alcohol for then sale? How does that work?
Since last June, when Jessica has been helping me, how to order it, who to order it, and a couple of places that do is, I think Breakthrough is one of the supplier. Republic National Bond Distributing, those are the people that we order our stuff from.
Okay. All right. Okay, those are the questions I have.
I just have one question. Ms. Redding, what's your connection to Michael Redding? We have an HCD permit here, and I'm just trying to understand. I assume they own the building, and then you're leasing it to...
I've been leasing it from him.
Okay, so you're leasing it from... Okay, I'm just trying to understand the connection. Okay, thank you.
Is there a family relationship between? Okay.
Okay.
Who else is on the license? Could we get your name and get some information about you?
Hi, I'm Sandeep Koirala. I'm a city resident. My address is 226 West Monument Street, and I've been working for restaurants and bar, and currently also I help him part-time. Also, I'm trying to come full-time as their...
Okay. So you're you're a resident of Baltimore City?
Yes.
And you've had prior experience working in restaurants? Is
Yeah,
that what I'm
restaurant and
hearing?
bars.
At restaurants and bars. Can you tell us a little bit about your prior experience?
I used to work in Indian restaurant,
In where?
Indian restaurants.
Okay.
And-
Any particular one?
That's a Lumbini restaurant.
Lumbini?
Yeah, and I have experience on Subway too, about the customer service,
On customer service? Okay.
cashier, and then currently I'm working in a Aslan Cafe. It's in Ahn Valley.
Okay.
Uh,
And your plan is to work at this location, and you're hoping that they'll hire you full time? Am I hearing that correctly?
yes,
Okay.
we're gonna involve here and gain some experience slowly.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You are welcome.
So, gentlemen, I'm sure that Ms. Redding's advised you about all the proper ways to run the establishment. You're going to have to take the awareness program before long and make sure that you're purchasing the inventory from the correct people and that you're not serving people and that you're not staying open beyond the time that you're permitted and all those sorts of things. So otherwise you'll be back before us, and that's not a good idea. But based on the evidence that you've presented and the fact that the community organizations with whom you've engaged have supported your application for the transfer of the license, that you've got a longstanding employee who's going to continue to be the overseer of the operation, I would vote to approve the transfer.
I would concur.
And I join in approving.
So good luck to you all.
Thank you so much.
I'd like to enter the exhibits into the record.
Mhm.
Applicant Exhibit 1, Harbell. Exhibit number 2,
Do they need
Frankfurt
to-
Improvement Association.
Do they need to deal with some transactions? Okay.
Exhibit number 3, letter from neighbor of support. And exhibit number 4 would be petition of support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling the next case just for the record.
One second.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I went off the record. I forgot about the exhibits.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
That was my fault. I'm ready. Sorry.
Calling the next case just for the record. Kafir Kat.
Wait.
You need to do exhibits.
Do we need to redo the
Oh, you need to redo the
Is
exhibits?
that
No,
correct?
no, I got him.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay.
Calling the next case just for the record. Kafir Catalan, Krista Bruno Rossi, and Michelle Mavis, Lilac Incorporated, trading as Lilac, 1801 East Lombard Street. This was a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, an application for transfer of ownership. This matter has been postponed and will be set on a future docket date.
Thank you.
Calling the next item, Jacob Jabrones and Doris Booker, Macios Incorporated, trading as Macios, 1924 through 26 North Monroe Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. It's an application to transfer ownership.
For the record, Melvin J. Kudensky, 19 East Fayette Street, representing the applicants.
Good morning, Mr. Kudensky. Can we ask them to identify themselves and be sworn, please?
Give your name for the record.
My name is Jacob Gabrionas.
Speak up, okay?
My name is Doris Booker.
Is this gentleman going to testify?
He's the current licensee. Come on, Dante,
Please
come
come
on up
forward.
here and say hello.
My name is Dante Daniels.
All right. Can all three of you please raise your right hands?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Kudensky, so this is a tavern restaurant, two-floor operation, is that?
That's correct. And Mr. Daniels has owned it for quite some time, and he built a gorgeous restaurant out in Randallstown. And he's taken most of his time out there, was one of the few minority businesses that were ever created out in Baltimore County. And he is going to spend most of his time there, although he has been helping Jacob through the last 2 or 3 months, working, showing him through the ropes. Plus another issue here is his wife is here, and I thought she would have that baby by now, but she didn't. So he's going to be confined with that. The individual has taken the alcohol awareness course. He has been fingerprinted along with Doris Booker, who is the city resident. And they're not making any changes in the operation. Mr. Gabriones doesn't have a lot of experience in the business, but he's going to stay on. Dante is going to stay on with him, make sure he meets everybody in the neighborhood. Doris has experience, but that's, you're probably all of you too young to know about the casino on Pennsylvania Avenue and Wilson's Restaurant and all that, but that's how far she goes back. I remember.
Of course you do.
I used to have bands used to play in the casino and second floor and Wilson's. And they're meeting the people in the neighborhood. And Dante's going to stay on for that transition so they can make everything work in that neighborhood. It's a restaurant, tavern that they keep there. They have a lottery and so forth. People come in. That's mainly a local place.
Okay, and there's nothing in our record of support or opposition from the area. Is there a community association that?
We were trying to determine who that may be. I asked Ms. Watkins, who knows a lot of the people over there, and and Dante probably could tell you more since he's been here for, was it 10 years now?
10 years.
Yeah, and I don't think he's ever come in contact with any community group over there.
Are there regulars who from the area who come into your establishment that you've gotten to know?
Yes. Yes, there's pretty much every day we have, patrons that come through if it's no more than playing the lottery and mainly coming to eat.
Okay. And what's the special to eat?
Well, we have from crab cakes to chicken wings to cheesesteak subs. I do have a degree in culinary arts. And I come from running restaurants downtown. That was one of the main reasons why I brought Macio's. I did 10 years with Phillips. I ran a cheesecake factory downtown for 2 years and also the Legal Seafoods for 2 years prior to buying, Macio's. Macio's was my startup, on my own. I did purchase the buildings along with the licenses and everything. And, I grew to Randallstown. And, as Mr. Kudensky stated, just with my wife and everything going on, we have a nice restaurant out there that seats 146
What's the name of your new restaurant?
It's called Collins Seafood and Grill.
Oh, yeah. We know Collins from Valerie Frayling.
Valerie
It's
Frayling.
probably your #1 ambassador.
Yes, she is.
Shout out to Valerie. Is she having a birthday party there or something?
She just
Always.
had it
She told
last
me
week.
she was going to invite me, and she didn't do it.
Yeah,
Oh, you were invited, just
Last
telling you
week.
that she was having the party as the
She gave me a
invitation.
different day, I think.
Oh, well, she might have done that too.
So how long are you going to be still at Macio's with Mr. Gabrones?
As long as it takes. One of the things, Macio's, there's a rich history today. That's where I met Valerie Frayland. I mean, we want to make sure that the transition is complete. He has kept all the employees that has been there. That has helped a whole lot. He's been in there for the last couple months working. The transition is going very, very well. And as long as it takes, I love that place. I really didn't want to let it go, but it's just, you have to know when to, when to go. And it was just that time. But, I'm excited that the right person is there. He makes the third owner. I was the second owner. I'm sorry, he makes the fourth owner. I was the third owner. It was Macio's, then Mr. Chapman, then myself, and now Jacob. And, we want to make sure that he's set, he's ready to go, and that's what we've been doing.
Okay, thank you. The commissioners have other questions?
Well, I mean, again, the issue really is who are we transferring to? And, the big question is what is your experience and knowledge? And just from the testimony, I don't want to beat it down, but it sounds like you don't have a lot of experience, but you're getting it. And there's a commitment for the transferor to stay in place and help you complete the transition successfully. Do I have that pretty accurate?
That's one of the reasons why I asked Dante to make sure, because he had made a commitment to Macio's, the people there, to make sure the next owner come in. So he wants to make sure the product is the same, they meet the people and so forth. And Jacob's been there for the last 2 or 3 months learning the business. Doris is going to help out if we need her, but she said she would be the head of security and give them the old 1-2 if they come through the door the wrong way.
Do you accept that challenge? Is that something you feel you can do?
She told me she would do it.
Okay, she's going to think about it. So Dante, your last name is?
Daniels.
Daniels, okay.
The alcohol awareness, you've taken that, or,
And we have gave them a copy of alcohol awareness, a copy of the fingerprint for both of them.
okay. All right, those are the questions I have.
Yeah, I don't really have a question, but just making sure that, Mr. Bronis, that you're in touch with Mr. Daniels frequently should issues come up. It sounds like you are now, but when the transition progresses, to stay in touch so that you're fully up to speed. And that's, it sounds like the transition is going well, so.
Okay. Well, good luck with the new restaurant and with the baby. And as to this transfer, based on the testimony this morning, the proffers from council, the fact that Mr. Daniels is going to assist in this, making this transition seamless, and provide the benefit of his many years of experience to the new owners, and the fact that there's no opposition, and it sounds like the community has been in supportive of Macio's for a long time, I would approve the transfer.
Yeah, I would as well.
I would as well.
Good luck to you folks.
Best of luck.
Are
Good
there
luck with the baby. When is the due date? Any day now.
Exhibits?
Good luck. Yeah.
Yes.
I'd like to enter the exhibits to the record. Applicant Exhibit 1, alcohol awareness certificate, and applicant Exhibit 2, receipts for background checks. Thank you.
Calling the next case, Cecilia Rodas and William Pereira, Jordy's Bar and Lounge, LLC, trading as Jordy's 301 South Macon Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. It's an application to transfer ownership. All those parties interested in this case, please step forward, state your name into the microphone, and please be prepared to be sworn in if you're going to be giving testimony.
You want to identify yourself first, Mr.
Yes, for
Counsel?
the record, Gary Maslin on behalf of the applicant. One of the applicants, the 1% owner, is not here. He's a trucker, over-the-road trucker. He never got the notice in time. I advised Mr. Akris of that.
Is that Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
Okay. Can I ask the other two to raise their right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And your names for the record, please.
Cecilia Rodas.
Okay. I think you're on one of the applicants, but I'll ask you to keep your voice up. And the other gentleman?
I'm Luis Portillo, and I'm her brother, and I'm gonna be like a manager next to her.
Spell your name.
Luis Portillo. I'm sorry, Luis Portillo.
Okay. And so I couldn't really tell from the drawing, Mr. Maslin,
I
exactly
take no pride in authorship. I do not
what
have
this
anything to do
is.
with
So there's a kitchen and a bar, essentially?
It's a kitchen and a bar. The kitchen is not open at this time. It's their intent to get permits and renovate the kitchen, and they want to expand this operation to sell food. The brother works at Telemaris Restaurant. The applicant is currently a waitress at Telemaris Restaurant. She has been working there for 3 years. Prior to that, she worked in the Virginia area for 10 years in the restaurant business. She is familiar with the rules and regulations of this board, is familiar with how to card people. She, in discussion, my conversation with her, she understands that if somebody comes in and they're intoxicated, she knows not to serve them. Together, they have extensive experience in the dispensing of alcoholic beverages. In addition to that, she is TAM certified.
Can you give it to
I
Ms.
have
Russell,
two
please?
certificates, and the other individual who is going on the license with them also secured a certificate. That individual understands that he has responsibilities as a licensee, and he's going to be stopping in from time to time to assist. The individuals have moved ahead. They have secured their trader's license. They have secured their sales tax license, and they have secured the certificate of occupancy. It's really a family operation. Her sister actually bought the real estate, and she's going to be running the business. Her brother works up the street in Telemaris, and he's going to help her out in trying to establish and get this restaurant operation running. In the meantime, they're going to operate a bar operation. It'll open from approximately 2 in the afternoon till 2 in the morning, 7 days a week. This is in the Greektown community. They reached out to the Greektown community and met with them, and they didn't express any concerns. It's her intent to join the community association in Greektown and become active in it and assist the community in any way she can to better the surroundings and the neighborhood and participate in any fundraising activities or whatever activities there are. I do have
I'll pass it down.
This is a professionally drawn drawing, just showing
This is the original certificate of occupancy.
the property in question. I believe she's a fit and proper applicant. I believe that this license has been there uninterrupted for many, many years, and yes, the board's consideration.
Ms. Rodas, do you live in this community?
Yes, I do.
Close to the place?
Yeah, very close. At the 3713 East Lombard Street.
Okay. And when did you meet with the Greektown Community Organization?
At that time, I really can't be there because I have a little baby and he was sick, and that day was raining a lot, but he went there.
Her brother went.
Okay. And when was that? How long ago?
I don't remember. I think it was like on at the very beginning. I think it was like early on April.
In April? Okay. And what kinds of concerns, if any, did they express to you?
Oh, they expressed to me like I introduced myself, and I asked them. They asked me all kind of questions that what are we gonna be doing, and I told them that where I was coming from. My other sister owns the restaurant on Broadway, and
Your sisters keep you employed, huh?
and then I introduced myself. I told them that we're gonna try to keep the place better or upgrading to whatever it was, and which we did. We fixed everything. We put everything on different places, trying to look a little different, because we were supposed to get the restaurant part on it, but unfortunately. Fire protection don't let us, because the whole system was a little bit out of code, and it'll cost us some more for funds. And then we decided not to hire it at this time because we had to take everything away, the whole system, even the exhaust system and equipment. And according to have the restaurant part on it, did not happen at the beginning, so we're trying to.
So it's going to be a substantial investment to bring it up to code before you can open and serve food.
Because the previous owner had it for like 43 some years, and before then I think it was like like a steady inspections. So now I think it might be a little different, and. We just didn't make it happen then. But
Okay.
we're eventually gonna happen.
And in your sister's restaurant, what is your job again?
I'm a general manager.
Okay.
Yes.
So are you responsible at all for purchasing alcohol inventory and
Yes,
things?
I am.
Okay. And for managing the hours of operation and who's served and all that sort of thing?
Basically, yes.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that?
On this place, I've been for like around 5 years or plus a little more. And before that, I used to work on many places. All the whole time I've been working on restaurants.
And Ms. Rodas, in your waitressing duties, do you interact with the bar and or serve people and not serve people and order drinks and card people and all that sort of thing?
I really have I think I have very big experience about customer service and all the regulations about the alcohol serving, and I'm really trying to keep everything on regulations. I'm a mom, so I try to be online all of the time.
How many kids do you have?
2. One 6 years old and one 17 months old.
2 kids and running a bar, huh? It's a lot of work. Okay.
Yeah.
Do the commissioners have questions for the applicants?
No questions
I just
for
have
me.
I just have a couple questions. So, Mr. Portillo, right?
Yes.
You will be, because on the application, there's no indication that the general manager, it says that it's to be determined. So that will be you?
Yes.
And, okay. And then 50% of the license will be owned by Jordy's Bar and Lounge.
I made a correction in that. I came down to the board. I didn't prepare this application. They had somebody that was totally unfamiliar with liquor license applications. She is the 99% owner, and the 1% owner is the other one.
Okay.
The actual application, I went down and corrected that.
Okay, thank you. And just so I'm clear, the use and occupancy for on the fire issue is just for the kitchen and has no relation to the
Yes.
the bar? Okay. I have no further questions.
And have they taken the alcohol awareness?
Yeah, I provided.
Oh,
a
that's in there?
certificate, so
Okay, okay.
Those are,
All right.
yeah, that's fine.
Anything further,
Public record.
commissioners?
No, but are you sure you want to submit the original?
Well, you can get copies from the.
Oh, well then, all righty. Worries. Okay.
All right. Well, on the basis of the testimony that you've presented, the fact that you both have experience in the industry, that it's a family operation where you all work together, that you have an interest in upgrading the tavern and eventually bringing it to code so you can serve food, that you've met with the community organization and answered their concerns, I would vote to approve the transfer.
I would as well.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Mr.
Or you
Moore?
want to chime in, or is it?
They're giving me, I'm distracted. They're just showing me that a change was made. So this
Yes,
is the,
yes, yes.
the change in terms of ownership.
Yes,
So, but I concur.
All
I
right,
join
thank you
fellow
very much.
commissioners.
Good luck to you folks.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck.
Have a wonderful day.
Let's call the exhibits for the record. Applicant Exhibit 1 would be alcohol awareness certificate. Applicant's Exhibit 2 would be sales and use tax license. Applicant's Exhibit number 3 would be trader's license. Exhibit number 4 would be floor plan, and Exhibit number 5 would be the use and occupancy permit. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Next, calling Charles King and Lorraine Parrish, 4 Crazy Guys LLC, trading as Baltimore Eagle, 2022 North Charles Street. This is a Class BD7 beer wine liquor license. It's an application to transfer ownership and location of a Class BD7 beer wine liquor license presently located at 934 through 36 North Charles Street to 2022 North Charles Street, and a request for live entertainment. Will all those interested parties please step forward, identify yourself, and please be prepared to be sworn in if you're going to be giving testimony.
Good morning.
Counsel?
Yes, good morning and welcome back. We've
Thank you.
all missed you. So I hope you're doing well. So
I'm fine. Did a little surgery yesterday. I was a little more involved than I expected.
all right, well, I think we have some exciting news today. This is obviously a license that is to be moved from the former Club Hippo, a fixture in Baltimore, to the Baltimore Eagle, which was also a fixture in Baltimore. So
Before you go forward, who is Mr. King? I am. Mr. King, have you ever been a client of my law firm, Whitefor Taylor Preston? Were you ever involved in asbestos claims or anything like that? Okay, because when we did our conflicts check, the name Charles and the name King came up a great deal, and I just have to be very careful to make sure that I don't have a conflict. Okay.
thank you, Stephen W. Fognall.
All right, so can we have everyone raise their right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And anyone who's going to speak, please identify yourselves for the record.
Carl Stokes, Baltimore City Council.
Charles King, I'm the general manager of the Baltimore Eagle.
Lorraine Parrish, Financial Management and Administration.
Alan Minarchik with the Charles North Community Association.
I need that spelling.
I can help with that.
Thought I had it. But can you spell?
Andy Sparks,
One
Charles
man,
Village
Mr.
Civic
Sparks.
Association.
Yeah,
Can we
you
just wait for 1 second? He was getting the spelling. Could you identify yourself again, please?
Sandy Sparks, President of the Charles Village Civic Association.
SPARKS. Thank you. Okay.
And Foster Tashak, T-A-C-I-A-K, and I'm a neighbor.
Okay.
TAC.
I-A-K.
All right.
So,
Thank you very
please
much.
proceed.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the applicants. We first want to give you a memorandum of understanding that was signed between the Charles North Civic Association and the applicants herein. It's pretty comprehensive.
If you give it to Ms. Russell, she'll mark it.
I'd love to give you courtesy copies.
Fine,
as well.
thank you very much.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
All right, and Councilman Stokes is here. He's on a tight schedule, and he'd like to express his support for the
Councilman.
transfer.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. How are you? And Commissioners, I get stopped by this afternoon to offer my full support in behalf of this transfer of license. The Eagle is a longtime entity in the Charles Village area, Charles North area. There has been a major renovation of the building, completely gutted out. There have been, I'm happy, I'm thinking Carl. I'm thinking there's always something going on in Charles Village. But folk have come together and feel very strongly about the present ownership and the present management and what this will be in the future. Again, it's been a long time fixture in East Baltimore, not East Baltimore, everything's East Baltimore for me, right? But in Charles Village. So it is still looked forward as something of a future strong entity. And so I just came by to lend my full support.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for the councilman? Okay,
Thank
you're
you.
excused. Thank you very much.
I just feel like I should comment. I live in Charles Village.
Yes.
I'm a past president of the Charles Village Civic Association.
Sure.
They're not a party to this transaction, so I don't feel that I need to recuse myself in any way, but just want to put it on the record.
Sure.
And we appreciate you coming in. We know that you're busy and have been real busy.
Really?
So,
Thank you.
Thank
you for
you
the great
very
job
much.
you're doing. I don't care what
Thank
they
you.
say. I still think you're doing a great job.
Thank you very much.
we feel the same way about you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Touche.
Was the hippo once the Chanticleer?
Yes.
I thought so, yes. Yeah. See, Mr. Kineski's not the only elder statesman around here. Okay. Anything further?
Only to introduce develop these characters who are the applicants. Mr. King has extensive management experience in the industry. Ms. Parrish will be handling the financial management and administration of the business. She will not be day-to-day. Mr. King will be day-to-day. I really want to thank Mr. Melanarchek on behalf of Charles North and Ms. Sparks with Charles Village. I believe we have an agreement here that is very comprehensive. They have a written security plan, written parking agreement secured. They understand that this is a significantly sized club and understand that the needs that for the community and to operate the business safely. And I think we have a plan that addresses that safety and quite frankly all the other factors that you are required to consider today. I'll put in a short petition.
If we can give that to Ms. Russell, please.
And I could open it up to any questions at this time.
Okay, and did the people from the community want to say anything, or are you just you're satisfied with the MOU?
I'd just like to say it's been a pleasure working with Mr. King, with Mr. Fogelman, on behalf of the parishes, the owners of the building. We're excited about seeing the doors open, the lights on, and we think it's going to add some real vibrancy to an area that's long been kind of dark, and a block that's kind of dark and sketchy at times, but we think this is going to change everything, so we're real excited to see them open.
You concur, Ms. Sparks?
Totally.
Can we speak into the microphone? Sorry.
Totally, and I would like to say that we've had a great deal of cooperation, and I'm with Mr. King, the new owners, and am very delighted with the leadership that Charles North took in creating the MOU.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
And,
you.
and is our neighbor, are you in support or opposition, sir?
In support.
Okay.
In support. We did a block party in June on 21st Street, which was right there, and they they lent us their porta potty from the
Well, that
construction
shows-
site.
Oh, there you go.
So it was very nice that they did that. And in doing the block party, I did an awful lot of research talking to all the neighbors, and I didn't hear one bad thing really concerning the project.
Okay. Do the commissioners have questions?
If I may, at this point, before you have questions, I'd like to recognize someone who was not sworn in. It's Mr. Chuck Bowers, who was also a fixture in the community with the Club Hippo for many years, and just a great businessman. And this might be his last official business in Baltimore City Hall. He smiles yes.
Well, welcome. Good morning.
So thank you.
So Mr. Bowers is the transferor?
Correct.
Okay.
And just so before we get into questions, this is obviously in the application, you're aware of it, but this transfer is between two legislative districts, and it was specifically authorized by statute under House Bill 1210, which was enacted into state law. So.
Understood. Okay. Yeah.
The only question I have is, can you speak to the live entertainment component?
Sure. The live entertainment will be basically DJs, cabaret shows upstairs. We have a small nightclub that will be upstairs, more of a sports bar atmosphere downstairs with the restaurant. So, just we're not really looking to have live bands, but, maybe small singers, film festivals, things like that.
Okay, thank you.
My question was on the application. It wasn't clear to me whether you're asking for the off-premise catering. It looks like no, but the form is a little, it's off.
Right now, all the catering would be on premise.
Okay.
We would maybe apply to have off-premise catering at a later date, but not anytime in the near future.
Okay, and it's also the same question with delivery of alcohol. That's
Delivery,
not.
we're not doing delivery.
You're not doing delivery?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Robert Gasser, is Robert Gasser here?
He's one of our business partners, but he's not here right now, actually.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about Mr.
Sure,
Gasser?
Mr. Gasser, he served in the military for many years, actually in 2 branches. He's had extensive restaurant and kitchen background history, worked in restaurants, kitchen, restaurant supplies, and maintenance. So he's very familiar with the kitchen. Myself, I've been in restaurants, nightclubs, bars, and casinos for the past 24 plus years, always in hospitality.
Okay. And the last question, there was a resolution from the BMZA that gave approval with some restrictions, and you're familiar with the
We are.
restrictions and prepared to obviously abide by them?
Yes, there is a restriction on the capacity currently, but Carl Stokes is working to create legislation along with Charles North to change that as soon as possible.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about that on the
I'm happy
the
to jump in and give you,
limits?
I think we have several, actually, people who have more expertise in it than I do here. But in fact, why don't I turn it over to Mr. Milanarchuk, just because we've had discussions about the Charles North Urban Renewal Plan. Thank you.
The Charles North Urban Renewal Plan has within it a restriction on capacity of taverns of 250 people. For some time, we've been talking about increasing that as we're in a growth mode, a development mode in Charles North. We want to see that development continue. So we have introduced amendments to the Urban Renewal Plan to Carl Stokes, Councilman Stokes, who is moving that forward, which will increase capacity. Capacity by right will be at 250, conditional use up to 800, prohibited above 800. And we're supporting that 100%. And when that happens, we'll be back before BMZA to get the capacity limit changed from 250 to 800 for the Eagle.
Okay, so I noticed that the MOU became incorporated into the zoning approval, and I assume that it's incorporated into the license.
Yes.
For transfer. Okay.
Certainly.
The area is really blossoming with tremendously as the Station North Arts and Entertainment District. So it's very appropriate to increase the capacity.
Thank you. Anything further?
Just a comment, and we're not there yet, but I just have to, I mean, it's not just that you're going to increase from 250 to 800, but the building can tolerate and can absorb 800 people, right?
9,690 square feet. This is
Okay.
a significant property.
Okay.
Yeah. 1.1 million invested by the real property owners, and I believe up to another 500,000, 600,000 from the tenants. So, nice property.
Okay.
We've also had to add a lot of egress into the building to make sure that we would be able to be granted the capacities that we're shooting for in the future.
Okay.
He has a pretty significant history, too. I mean, I know the Hippo was basically a disco, but before that, years and years ago, my parents' day, wasn't Sinatra and other very famous people were there? Yes.
He could tell you a whole lot about that.
Okay. Anything further?
Nothing further.
On the basis of all the testimony that we've heard this morning, as well as the support from the community organizations, and with the understanding that the memorandum of understanding is incorporated into the license on the basis of the neighbor support and the plans, the councilman's praise for the work and the cooperation everybody's given, I would vote to approve the transfer.
So I join in the approval, and if I could just have a little side note or footnote, I just acknowledge the passing of the torch from the Hippo, which is a Baltimore stable, Baltimore landmark. I know that the Baltimore Sun is looking to do an article on retro establishments in Baltimore, and it just occurs to me it would be beautiful to do one on the Hippo and now the Baltimore Eagle. And we welcome the investment in Baltimore. I know that the parishes are here, they're observing, and it's commendable when anyone wants to make that size of an investment in Baltimore City. And if I could just harken back a little bit to my first time on this board, this came before us, and we made a very different decision back then, and it was obviously based on the law, but it was a decision that had a lot of repercussions that weren't necessarily positive for everybody. But you're presenting a very different case today, and it's commendable that all of the effort to get the community support, neighborhood support, the porta potty, lobby is happy. So this is a very, very terrific presentation, and I wholeheartedly support it. I go up Charles Street often. We don't like to see the dark. Looking forward to see the light that will come with this establishment. So thank you for it.
I too concur and would underscore what Commissioner Moore mentioned. I appreciate the investment that you're making in the city. It's very much appreciated. It definitely goes noticed. And I also thank you for working with the community and engaging them. Thank you.
Thank you all. Best of luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Still miss you.
Sure we have exhibits.
Yes, we did.
All right, congratulations.
I'd like to call the exhibits into the record. Applicant Exhibit 1 would be an MOU, and Exhibit number 2, petition of support. Thank you.
Calling the next case for the record, Charles P. Stokes Incorporated, trading as Club Rio, 1330 Poplar Grove Street. This was a Class BD7 beer, wine, liquor license request for a hardship extension under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-2202. This matter has been postponed and will be set on a future date.
Mr. Akras, do we know if the auction took place?
On the
31st of August?
I do not know right now, sir, but I can.
That's all right. I saw in the letter that it was supposed to go to auction. I wondered if it had. Okay.
I'll let you know, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Lastly, calling Patrick Hudson, East Fort Avenue, Tuscan Fresh LLC, trading as Tuscan Fresh, 554 East Fort Avenue. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. It's a request for a hardship extension under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article, Section 12-2202. All those individuals interested in this case, please step forward, state your name into the microphone, and if you're going to be testifying, please be prepared to be sworn in.
Mr. Hudson, you are Patrick Hudson?
Yes.
I have to ask you the question I asked earlier. Have you ever been a client of Whiteford Taylor Preston?
No.
Or had anything adverse to my law firm?
I don't believe
Okay. Your name, or portions of your name, the computer spit out as potential conflicts, and I have to ask, but thank you very much. Mr. Fogelman, you may proceed.
Thank you very much. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the applicant. Mr. Hudson is here today, owned and operated Tuscan Fresh, a nice little place down in Riverside, Locust Point. It became known as Bread Bangers for the 9 months after that. Mr. Hudson found himself in a bit of a jam. He has other businesses, and he was able to rely on a manager who was able to run the establishment full-time and allow him to participate in other business ventures. Unfortunately, that manager basically up and quit on the spot one day due to some pressures of his own, family pressures, and left Mr. Hudson in a bit of a lurch. So he made a decision as a result of the manager leaving to shut down around Christmas, around December 24th of 2015, with the intention of finding another trustworthy manager to reopen. During that time, that he was looking for a manager, Mr. Hudson did have a couple of events on the property, an event on January 11th of 2016 and an event on March 9th, 2016. In both cases, those were political events or events that involved guests coming to the restaurant, consuming alcohol, and in fact donating to a political campaign. I have some affidavits if you need them. I've even gone so far to actually pull Maryland campaign finance reports to show that there were in fact checks written by people I have affidavits for during that date. I have a redacted version where you can't see the candidate. I don't think it's relevant for our purposes here today. But let me get back to the hardship. So Mr. Hudson had looked for a manager, could not find anyone that he could trust to open the bar. At that time, the financial pressures on him began to mount because of back rent, because of BG&E bills, because of all the other expenses other than purchasing new alcohol. So he made a decision that he could not go forward in the business despite his best efforts. In that time, he dealt with the landlord, Mr. Ray Jackson of Stonewall Development and Timber Run Capital, and Mr. Jackson was able to let him out of his lease because Mr. Jackson was able to find a suitable replacement tenant. That replacement tenant is Mr. Fleischman, who is hoping to open up a nice restaurant at that location. He already has a transfer application filed under Rachel's LLC, or no, under Scratch Mill LLC, and it'll be operating as Rachel's. So that's where we are today, and Mr. Hudson is here to answer any questions you may have, but he appears to be leaving the restaurant business for now. Is that fair to say, Mr. Hudson? Correct. Yeah.
And the intent is to extend the time periods to allow Mr. Fleischman to obtain his...
Oh, I'm sorry.
He answered a question.
I
apologize for the interruption. Raise your right hand real quick. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
The intent is to gain some time so that Mr. Fleischman's application can be ruled on?
That's exactly right. Thank you.
Okay. Do the commissioners have questions?
So you represent, Mr. Fogelman, Stonewall, the landlord?
Correct.
Okay, and Mr. Hudson was a tenant, right, with Tuscan LLC, and, okay, and we're in the process of
Exactly. And speaking of which, Mr. Jackson is not able to be here today, so let me go ahead and introduce an exhibit. He is off the coast fishing and out of even cell phone range. Let me put in an affidavit from him. It indicates that not only is he the owner of the property, his LLC is the owner of the property at 554 East Fort, but it also indicates that what I said about Mr. Hudson vacating the premises in order for the new tenant to come in, and indicating that he hosted 3 events, political events at the establishment, one on November 2nd, one on January 11th, one on March 9th. He also indicates that alcoholic beverages were served and paid for on those dates. So if I may. And I have a courtesy copy of that, if you like. I also, and since I put that in, I also, if you don't mind, I might as well enter an affidavit of Jill H. Jackson, who also testified that she was at the events aforementioned.
That's fine. Thank you. Anything further?
No, that's it. I thank you.
Commissioners have any other questions?
Who is the license held by? Is it in the name of Tuscan Fresh?
Yes, and Mr. Hudson individually.
Or Mr. Hudson individually? I just think we need to be clear on the record about this license and its life.
I did.
Yeah.
You did some
and
math.
you
I
know
did too.
why. So the establishment closed January 2016, which would begin the initial 180-day period.
Right.
when
and-
it closed. And then there was an event on March 9, 2016.
Which would be 120 days from my letter of July
So-
7th.
But that gives us a new starting time, a new running time for the 180 days. Would you agree with that?
I would, and that,
All right,
that
and
would be
180
120.
days would expire on September 6, 2016.
And I'm going to be 100% frank with the board. I was contacted by the landlord literally the day as I was leaving for my vacation. I always go to Rhode Island around that time every year, where my wife's from.
Saw that on Facebook.
There you go. And thank you. And so I immediately got this letter out to Mr. Akris in a hurry. And when I wrote that letter, I was not aware of the March 9th event. I was only aware of the January 11th event. So I said, oh my God, if you're only
Right.
at 6 months, we need to file this. I don't want to come back in 2 weeks and it's on me.
Exactly. So but the letter requesting the hardship extension was July 7, 2016. So obviously that's timely. Now, I don't know why we're just now hearing this in September, but there you are. But just so that the record is clear, that the request was made timely, there was this event. I do think you should put in the documentation regarding this event and whatever was generated. I don't know that you need to put in the
Receipts?
checks. that
Right,
were
I don't know
written
that
for
I
the
need to go that
political
far.
contributions.
We do have the affidavit as to attendance at the events.
Okay, and I think that's just very helpful.
Thank you.
This is not a zombie license. This is a license that's living. It's eligible for extension. This is appropriate.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sure.
Anything further?
Nothing further.
Okay, on the basis of the information that's basically been proffered by Mr. Fogelman as to the history of the license and the opportunity now to for Mr. Hudson to get out from under the lease and Mr. Fleischman to assume that lease and to operate a restaurant there, if we approve it, I would grant the hardship extension.
I would concur.
I would join in.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Good
to
luck
see
to you, sir.
Thanks.
Let's enter the exhibits into the record.
Mhm.
Licensee Exhibit 1 would be affidavit from Mr. Raymond Jackson. Exhibit number 2 would be affidavit from Ms. Jill H. Jackson. And Exhibit 3 would be invoices. Thank you.
Thank you, and I believe that's our morning docket.
It is?
So we resume at 1.
Yes. Amigos. Okay, I thought you had information. That's fine, I just thought you had information we
I
didn't.
was like, 'cause you're confusing me. 'Cause I thought my document was right. Okay. All right.
Got a lot here. Is all that me or that's none of it's me? Are you cold?
I'm freezing.
It is freezing in here, isn't it?
Freezing.
You had hot tea at lunch.
Oh, that's right. That's what that's tea.
Can you close the door?
This is gonna be a replacement long docket for this particular case. I don't know if you want me to give it to you now or you wanna wait till the case is called.
Let's wait.
Wait,
Oh,
okay.
Hold on,
well,
let me just.
Mr. Chair, what do you want to do?
What is
You
it?
can take it out. It's a replacement for your long docket.
For one of the
For
cases.
Santa Ana. I don't know if you want it now or if you wanna wait till the case is called.
Oh, you can pass it to
You
us,
can
that's
take it,
fine.
take the one you had
Yeah.
in and replace it.
Thank you. This is the one I was talking about.
Do we know what the differences are?
It's, here. Of course,
difference?
discrepancy, the date of the,
Oh, they changed the date.
legacy.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
Ready, Mr.
All right.
Akers?
I'm just, ready?
I'm ready.
I'm waiting.
For
just-
you.
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon. Welcome to the afternoon docket of the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City. During this afternoon, we're going to be calling violation cases. If you have a cell phone, please silence it. When I call your case, please step forward, state your name into the microphone. And if you're going to be providing testimony, please be prepared to swear in as per the court, as per the commissioner reporter. Calling the first case on the afternoon docket, it's going to be Mary Espocopo McFall, Rope Walk Incorporated, trading as Rope Walk, a Federal Hill Tavern and Seafood Company, 1209 South Charles Street. This is a Class BD7 Beer 1 liquor license. It's a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct.
For the record, Melvin J. Kanensky representing the licensee.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kadensky. How are we going to proceed today?
We'll do a denial on this.
Okay, can we have all the witnesses raise their hands, please?
Mr. Chris Morales, do you swear or affirm affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
And ma'am, will you state your name for the record, please?
Mary Episcopo McFall.
Okay. Mr. Kadensky, do you want us to go first? I think so.
Yeah, we hope so.
Who's going to testify for the board? Detective?
Yes.
State your name, please.
Detective Abraham Gatto, Baltimore City Police Vice Unit. On 8/20/2016 at 00:15 hours, Inspector Chris Mouse and myself were in the Federal Hill area. We were making various observations of the numerous bars in that location, looking at capacities, looking at just the patrons coming in and out of the bars. At which time, at 00:15 hours, we were watching individuals coming in and out of Rope Walk. During this time, I was observing the employee or security guard at the front door who was manning pretty much any photo identification of patrons coming into the bar. There was a long line. This bar is rather popular. On a Friday, Saturday night, it was very busy. It was busy to the point to where this individual was overwhelmed because patrons were coming out over his left shoulder, and then he was facing patrons looking at IDs on his right shoulder. During this time, Inspector Chris Malice and I, at the same time, observed a white male who was later identified as Mr. Chase Adam Nitsky of 601 South Paca Street, exit the bar holding it was a beer bottle in his left hand. The bottle was a Bud Light. He walked right past the security/employee doorman who was, as I said, was checking IDs. The employee didn't even see him. Walked right past him, right out into the street. We stopped Mr. Nitsky. I obtained his Maryland photo identification and identified him properly. We took the alcohol and poured it out. And I believe Inspector Chris Mellis may have either thrown it away or returned it back to the bar, showing them that what had occurred. As we were inside the bar after the violation, before I went into the bar, I had notified to this employee who was standing and looking at IDs what had occurred. He told me to go in and find the night management. Inspector Chris Mellis met with this individual. I wrote down the various licenses and identification that they had there, and we pretty much turned the bar back over to the management.
Mr. Kadensky, you have questions for the detective?
Yeah, were there any summons issued to this Chase Nitsky?
No, at my discretion, there was not.
Okay. And did you see him purchase the Bud Light?
I only observed him walk out of Rope Walk.
No further questions.
Okay. Are you going to testify?
My report mirrors the detective's report.
Well, did you enter the facility after you observed the man leave?
I did enter the facility, and I met with a Miss Mary. I don't want to butcher her last name. Lipiscopo.
Actually, you didn't meet with me. I wasn't there.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well, that's who they said. That's the name they gave me when I was there. That's the name that they introduced me as. And then we also met with another individual, a male, who said he was the manager, and we explained everything, and everybody was cooperative, and that's who we spoke with.
Okay. And was there some resolution of how they were going to deal with this?
None that was given to me. The manager said that they would be taking, whatever actions that they needed to take.
Okay. Mr. Kadensky?
Yeah, you're assuming you didn't see the person purchase the Bud Light.
I did not, sir.
So there's no evidence whether he even purchased it in the places you said you saw. I'm assuming you saw the same thing that the detective saw. Is that correct?
Correct. I saw him exit the door, and when asked, he also gave us that information that he purchased it from Rope Walk.
He said he purchased it.
Correct.
But no action was taken against him.
That's my jurisdiction.
Anything further, witness? Okay. Anything other evidence on behalf of the liquor board? Your case?
I make a motion based on the fact that the rule says no licensee may commit or allow the commission on the licensed premises of an act. First of all, there's no evidence that they allowed or committed this infraction under the Kugel case. I want to keep quoting that, although I see their they're moving along, that's the law it is now. And the actual, having the bottle outside was not on the licensed premises either, it was out on the street. So two-prong argument is that there's nothing here to indicate that the licensee, who is right here, committed or allowed the commission of the, on the licensed premises of an act. Number two, if in fact the person had it, he had it outside off the licensed premises.
The Kugel argument's an interesting one in this context. It's very different from the Kugel case. I mean, here we have an allegation that someone purchased alcohol within a facility and walked out without it, and you're saying that in order for someone to be guilty of a violation of our rule, that the manager or licensee has to know that the individual bought it and walked out with it?
How would you know that he walked out with it? You wouldn't know. There's
Well-
no way of knowing. In fact, the best testimony you have on behalf of the police officer is that he didn't see him, and he could have done almost anything.
Well,
and of
it's a
course,
pretty
if you're
reasonable
gonna
inference that's
commit-
drawn from their testimony.
If you're going to commit, means that you did it, which the licensee did not. Number two, where allowed means that you would have to known that that person was walking out with a container of alcoholic beverages, which we don't have any testimony to that.
Yeah, I don't think the court's going to agree with you, but I deny the motion. So do you have evidence? Do you want to put on mitigation?
Can any help anybody else?
He's making a legal ruling.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to rule as a matter of law that the motion's denied.
I don't, and Wesley, if that's the case, I mean, I've got some mitigation, but that's about what I have.
Okay, we're ready.
All right, and mitigation is that the licensee has been a licensee there for 21 years. It's not the kind of place you look at the record, they have, a record of doing anything, and they have signs posted, and let me give these.
You may,
Muscles running
yes.
away on me here. Just to give you an idea what's posted in the place. And I think the thing was isolated, they were busy, and the person, snuck out, and as much as if they were hidden and going out, and you'd have to know, and they didn't chase after them or anything else. I would have the board take that into consideration. Like, it's not the kind of place where you've seen them before the board many times, and if you look at the exhibits, that was brought in here by the licensee, you'll see the place is posted. That doesn't stop people from, no matter what it is. And the sign says, "Don't speed," people speed. People, don't do this, they'll do it.
So now, I'm not speaking for the other commissioners, but you'll understand when I say, Mr. Konecki, I don't view this as a mortal sin. But on the other hand, it sounded, and I think there's a strong suggestion from the testimony of the detective, that perhaps there isn't adequate security on the weekends because there's such a crowd at the place. Is there anything that can be done about that?
We talked about that, to have an additional person at the door, not only let's call it the indoor and the outdoor, to keep a better on, but as, I hate to keep saying this, when I was in the business, there are times people come in what they call waves, you know what I mean? And it's quiet, and all of a sudden a whole wave of people will come in. We used to call them, in Fells Point, like it'd be quiet and you see ants, so like ants coming down the street, for.
I understand that, but aren't there sort of peak hours on weekends, late?
It depends where they're coming from. They're coming from one place to another. So that's what they've done to make sure, to watch people so they won't come in. And like I said, that you always remind me, you say venial, you remember Judge Jerome Robinson?
Mm-hmm.
It's like this. He would say, I view this as a de minimis case.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think, it's obviously serious enough that they bring it to our attention, and something happened, and it sounded like there just wasn't enough supervision. Do you have any plans going forward?
We have 7 doormen that were on that night, so we can always increase it.
God, you must have quite a crowd.
Well, it's nice to be able to have something to lean back on. I mean, I'm happy that I've never been here before about this.
And we note that.
So, yeah, to have an extra couple of people might not be a bad idea that come on later.
No. Okay.
And technically, she was not there. She was down at the beach celebrating the birthday of your triplets.
Triplets? How old?
10.
Well, congratulations on that. The other commissioners might have some questions.
I have a question of Mr. Inspector Chris Amalis. Did someone in fact tell you that they were Mary Episcopo?
I asked for the owner, and the lady I thought introduced herself as Miss Mary. It should be noted, it's very loud. She might have not understood the question.
Okay.
We were under the impression that we were speaking with the licensee.
Okay, so that's very different, and it's actually helpful to you that there's some confusion, and you credit that to the
She
the
might have
noise
misunderstood the.
in the bar, and
Yes,
she might
ma'am.
not have understood what you were asking. Okay.
When I originally approached her, because I did have the beer with me, we took it back in so we can show them what was outside. I asked for the owner, and I thought identified herself as Miss Mary. She might have been giving me the owner's name.
Okay.
But
Okay.
we were under the impression that's who we were speaking with.
Okay. The only other thing I wanted to state is that it looks as though there was a violation in November 2009. It was a violation of Rule 4.01A, and that was handled administratively, and that was done by probably several boards previous to this board, which is an administrative procedure that was later found to be inappropriate and would never happen now. But there was, in fact, a prior violation. And it looks as though there might well have been one October 14, 2010, which that's not real clear from the record that we have. But it looks as though that there were a number of issues with this location that were dealt with administratively, privately, off the record, and paid for. So there was certainly that violation in November 2009, a violation of Rule 4.01A. There was actually there was a public hearing, and there was a fine imposed. The point being, I don't want us to think that this is a place that has a completely clean record. There is some record of prior
That violation where
violations.
there was a hearing, that bartender doesn't even work for us anymore.
Okay,
I mean, we are pretty strict and take bull seriously.
okay, I understood. All right.
Commissioner, you have anything?
Yeah, just one question. Ms. Episcopo McFowle, does the Rope Box sell Bud Light bottles?
Yes.
Okay. And just to underscore what the chairman said, this was on a Saturday night, so if you have 7 doormen or 7 security, just advisable to make sure that someone's at the front. That's all I have. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay. On the basis of the testimony that was presented here as to this August 20, 2016 incident, I believe that there's a reasonable factual inference to be drawn from the detective's testimony that this customer did actually exit the bar with a Bud Light in his hand, and that's a violation of our Rule 4.16. So I'd find the violation. I would impose a fine of $200 and give you 30 days to pay it.
And I agree with the imposition of that fine.
I concur as well.
So thanks, and I hope you will take the actions you said, and that we won't have any more dealings. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
And exhibits?
For the record, Board Exhibit 1 will be an investigation report from Inspector Krista Malice. Licensee, Exhibit 1 will be total. Thank you.
Okay, so we're off the record?
Yes. I'm ready. If you wanna.
Okay, Tom.
Calling next case, Thomas Hamrick and Yanis Silva, Carolina Tex-Mex LLC, trading as Carolina's Tex-Mex Restaurant, 505 South Broadway. There's a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license, violation of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 4-505F1, small Roman numeral 3, failed to present an up-to-date valid certificate on August 8th, 2016, and violation of Rule 4.08A, relations with wholesalers, on August 10th, 2016.
Okay, would everyone raise their right hands, please? And the gentleman down here will swear you.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
So, folks, these gentlemen are our inspectors, and they're going to testify first. And after they speak, you can ask them questions. And then after they're finished, we'll give you a chance to testify as well, okay? Inspector? Please identify yourself.
Inspector Andy Perez, Baltimore City Liquor Board.
Okay, what happened?
On August 8th, myself and Agent Hyde responded to 505 South Broadway, known as Tex-Mex Restaurant, based on a complaint that the licensee was buying from other than a licensed wholesaler. At that time, we found out that there was an expired alcohol awareness certificate dated July 10, 2016, and open request of liquor invoices. Marta Diaz, the manager on duty, couldn't produce one. I requested that I would like to speak to the owner, Mr. Pedro Silva. I spoke to him on the phone, and when I asked him where the liquor was purchased on premise, he admitted that he had bought it from King's Liquor at that time. I informed him that he was in violation. At that time, we left without further incidents. On August 10th, I contacted the wholesalers, and I found out that no purchase was made between 2016 and 2011 from Republic National. There were no purchase record on their breakthrough account. And last purchase from Bond Distributor was on April 29, 2016, and their account was on delinquent status for non-payment. I also contacted Chesapeake Beverage, and no purchase have been made since December 26, 2014. On that day, around approximately 12:45, I went back to the establishment and obtained copies from the purchase made at King's Liquor, took pictures of the stack that was on premise, and left without any further issues.
Okay. Can you each state your name for the record, please?
Yanis Carolina Silva.
And you, sir?
Pedro Silva.
Okay. Do either of you have any questions for this inspector?
Did you, we did a transition from having a live entertaining license and before we didn't have any live entertainment license. Did you ask them about the new change that we did?
No, I did not.
Do you have any other questions?
It was a misunderstanding with our manager that she didn't know where was the receipt, because the second time you came, we gave you some of the receipt that she didn't provide it to you.
I was not provided any receipts the first time. The second time, I was provided receipts from a liquor store.
I think I spoke to, you about some of the receipt that we have, and we show you some of the receipts. And about...
Excuse me, ma'am, but if you want to save your questions if it was the other gentleman, you'll get a chance to question him.
I didn't talk
Okay.
to him.
Do you have any other questions for this inspector?
Do you have any? I don't.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Agent John Howard, Baltimore City Liquor Board. Let me see. On August the 10th, which was a couple of days, a day or so after Inspector Perez went in, I went back with Inspector Perez to check to make sure that everything was done as it was supposed to have been done, and to check to see if there were any, if they had any invoices at that time, and to, just to do a compliance inspection.
Did you speak to Ms. Silva while you were there?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and what was that conversation?
Okay, at that conversation, I asked her about the, about purchasing from another person. She said that her husband did it without her knowledge, and that when she did show me a invoice, but it was, late 2015.
Okay. Do you have any questions for Inspector Howard?
It was from the one that I show you was like from the Bond distributor, and then I show you some like the data, the 16, and you mentioned that to me. Why didn't show that to the inspector before? And that's when I said I think it would be a miscommunication with my with Marta Diaz, who was at that time, because we were not there when he showed up, and then like we had that conversation that we had that why did you didn't show this before?
Yes, well, you know, the one from Bond you showed me. And the other one was, you know, they were from, I didn't make a copy of it, my mistake. But, you know, that the other one was from, as I remember, was from 2015. And the one from Bond was, darn, I don't have my sheet here.
But did you bring any receipts from wholesale distributors today?
Yeah, I did.
Do you want to submit those?
And talking about the certificate, our expired in August, but Mr. Murray had the meeting and all of that like 2 weeks before that thing, the certificate expired. So we were like kind of like in the middle, and that's when they came back. He already did.
You
the
have gotten.
certificate.
Do you want to show those? And I didn't mean to keep you from testifying, but it seemed like the gist of this matter is whether or not you're purchasing the alcohol from the appropriate place. So if you have some records to show that you are, we'd take a look at those. Let me give these to Ms. Russell tomorrow.
And yeah, indeed, I talked to him about, you know, my husband purchase sometimes, you know, when we run out and all of that, and I said I will provide some of those receipt that at one point we bought some. So if you want to take
That
a
you
look.
bought some from non-wholesale distributors?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're admitting that you've done it?
We done it, but not like all the time. So it's
So this is from August 17th. I'm not sure I see a date on this one.
Can I see it?
Yeah, I'm going to show it to you in just a second. Just wanted to see what we have here.
and we had an inspection like 2 weeks a week ago.
Who inspected?
Like a week ago.
Who did that
I
inspection?
did an inspection.
Did you do it?
I did.
Okay. Have you seen these since then?
Okay, this one is for August the 17th, which was after we had been there.
Yes.
And the date on this one is I can't make that out.
I couldn't figure it out either.
And this was 3/18, which was from Bond.
Is it for a substantial amount of alcohol?
Okay.
Our business is like
This one's
not
from
that driving right now.
2014.
Okay.
Chesapeake Beverage, 2014.
Well, maybe we can just cut to the chase a bit here, Ms. Silva. Obviously, you've purchased alcohol from the wrong people at times.
This is a copy of the, from the, packaged good, King's Liquor.
So have you, other than recently, purchased any wholesale liquor during 2016?
Can you repeat that question?
Well, you showed me one from August 17th from a wholesale distributor, but did you buy any other alcohol from wholesale distributors this year?
Yes, he does all the ordering.
I mean, because it sounds, well, there was one small one from Bond, right?
Yes.
Say something.
Did you want to say something, Inspector?
The only information I was able to verify was a purchase from Bond. Take a look at my report. On April 29th.
Okay.
And two other purchases that I was able to verify last week that were made after
This
the
violation, yes. Okay.
All those pieces.
So is there anything you want to say about that? I mean, based on the evidence, it does look as though you've committed a violation.
Well, right now, like I spoke to them, we spoke to them about, we didn't know that we could buy like single bottles and all of that. And our business it's suffering like very much right now. So we kind of like going, week by week. So we would like the board to consider that, and we've never been in this situation before, so we would like that to consider that.
Yeah, the record we have shows a history of violations, not this violation, but other ones last year and the year before, for prohibited hours, employee records, legal conduct, public welfare, failing to appear, cooperation, storage, alterations, again, cooperation. So it's not a great record.
The one we didn't appear, we mix up the date, and that was like, oh my gosh, a misunderstanding there. So,
So were all those violations on the day that you did not appear?
no, it was just one. We were not. It was like that day. It was like 1:55 when the inspector came, and we missed the date of the court. So that's why we were like,
Well, are you going to be able to maintain this business and do it the proper way?
absolutely.
Okay, do the other commissioners have questions?
I think it's a little, it's obvious that you know what the law is and you know what's required, but it's not happening. And I guess my question is there anyone who's advising you or helping you run the business? Is it just the two of you?
It's just the two of us.
Because when you look at the record, there's like very few of this liquor board's laws and rules that y'all haven't violated. So I don't understand what it is we need to do to help you come into compliance. Do you understand? It's overwhelming, the number of violations.
Like I don't know what to say about that, but we will do whatever it takes to be in compliance. For now on, you learn the hard way, and that's what we're going to do.
Because you had violations November 6, 2014 that were pretty significant. I think I remember that because you did alterations, you didn't have permission, and there were other issues. So you got fined $375. And even before the year is up, you come back October 8, 2015, and there's just a healthy list of violations. And then you got suspended for 14 days.
Yeah, that's the one. We missed the court for that, and it was just, we mix our...
And then 10 months after that, you're back for October 8, 2016, which is what we're here about today. So it's not going well. You understand that, right?
Yeah, we understand that. And we're going to, like I say, we're gonna correct that, and we learn the hard way, and we're gonna do that, and
fix the change,
and do the change that we need to be done.
What changes are you gonna make?
Telling him that he needs to order from the persons that need to be done, and he pretty much do the orders. So we's gonna be some changes, or are gonna be in charge of that.
Maybe that's the change that needs to happen now. Yeah. Okay. All right.
I have
Thank
a few
you.
questions. When did you apply? When did you actually take this alcohol awareness course?
1 week after they come in.
Okay, so it had expired.
Yeah,
Do
we
you-
had expired one.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Like 1 week before.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Mr. Silva, are you are you a license holder, or is it just Miss Silver and a Mr. Hamrick?
Just me and Mr. Hamrick.
Okay, so Ms. Silva, I would encourage you to really take over this role and not defer to Mr. Silva, because you are the individual that's responsible here. And as Commissioner Moore has stated, these are very serious charges over a period of a few years. So you are the one that's responsible, and I would engage a little bit more. Are you at the establishment? How often are you at?
Twice a week.
Twice a week.
Or-
So that's probably not sufficient, would be my guess, given this history. And that's something from a business standpoint, I'd encourage you to look into, because it doesn't appear that you deferring to someone who's not a licensee although he's your husband, is working out so well for you.
Yeah, he's like most of there, and I take care of my twin girls and my 12-year-old girl, so it's kind of like, but hopping up and down. So, but I've definitely we will take care of that.
Seems like bar owners have a lot of children. Twins, triplets today.
17-year-old girls.
Okay. Is there anything further? Okay. Based on the evidence that was presented by the inspectors, I would find a violation of 4505 F1 3 small i's, the failure to present an unexpired alcohol awareness certificate on on August 8th, 2016. And then on August 10th, I would find a violation of Rule 408A for having evidence that you were purchasing alcohol from other than the wholesale distributors that you were supposed to be purchasing it from. You know, we don't take any pleasure in harming small businesses. It seems like that's what you have, an operation that might be marginal. On the other hand, you have as I characterize, a pretty lousy record, and something's going to have to change or you are going to be out of business, I'm afraid. So if you were doing really well, I'd probably be harsher on you than I'm going to be, because I don't want to be the one that pushes you over the edge. But on the other hand, there has to be a repercussion for the violation. So in my view, I would impose a fine of $500 and give you 30 days to pay it, and I'd suspend your license for 3 days.
Can you reconsider suspending the license for 3 days?
I haven't even heard what my colleagues think, so let's wait till we hear what they say.
So, I would have been a lot harsher. I do find the violation. And here's one of the things that happens. Nothing happens in a vacuum. One of the things that we hear from the business side is that if we allow licensees to purchase alcohol, outside of a wholesaler, we are giving that licensee an unfair business advantage because they're not following the rules. So we get attention from that side when we let that go. We also get attention when someone is presented with the record that you have, and we just sort of give them a pass and say, "Oh, well, okay," which we can't do. So it's not just looking at you and your business practices, but it's looking globally. How do you fit in with a sort of the matrix of all the cases that we hear? I was thinking to myself that this is a case where a 3 to 4 week suspension would be in order and a higher fine imposed, given the history of the violations and given the significance of the violations. I am willing, I'm hearing you, and I'm accepting that your business is not where you want it to be, that you're experiencing problems. I believe you. I accept your testimony. For that reason, I will concur with the chair in the 3-day suspension, and I think it was the $500 fine. And I think, looking at everything, that's reasonable. So I join in the 3-day suspension and the $500 fine.
So I think my colleagues have hit it on the head, that this is very much a balancing act, because you are a small business and we don't want to push you over the edge. But at the same point, we have to make certain that you understand that there are some repercussions to not following the law. And I, like Commissioner Moore, would probably have been a little bit harsher as well with where the chairman is. But given the fact that it is a small business, and I trust, based on your testimony, that you're taking this very seriously and you don't want to come back before us, and that we won't have any issues, I will concur with the chairman. That violations, both violations, that you're in violation on both a 3-day suspension and a $500 fine.
So,
Starting from today?
yes. Today. So do you understand? Really, Ms. Silva, you're going to have to take charge and run this place without further violations, or else you're going to be out of business. So please hear us, okay?
Okay, we will definitely.
Mr. Chairman, can I make one other
Please.
point? Ms. Silva, I'd also encourage you to confer with the commission, the staff, and particularly Inspector Perez, I'm sorry, because we're also here to try and help you if you have questions. So please feel free to reach out and to the staff here, because we want you to be successful.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Right, thank you.
Yes. And to the record, Board Exhibit number 1, investigation report from Inspector Andy Perez. Exhibit number 2, receipts. Exhibit number 3, alcohol awareness certification. Exhibit number 4, copies of invoices. Licensees Exhibit 1, alcohol awareness, and licensee Exhibit 2, various invoices. Thank you.
Okay. I'm calling this next case for the record. Christian Rugel and Carlos Sotelo, Amigos Bar Incorporated, trading as Amigos Bar, 400 South Eaton Street. It's a Class D beer, wine, liquor license, violation of Rule 4.14A and B, live entertainment without authorization. This matter has been postponed and will be set on the docket for a future date. On the last case on the docket, pardon me. Okay. And calling the last case on the docket, Adon Martinez, Santa Ana Restaurant, LLC, trading as Santa Ana Restaurant, 246 South Broadway. It's a Class D beer, wine, liquor license. It's a violation of Rule 3.03A for records, invoices on July 6, 2016. Violation of 3.03C, employee records on July 6, 2016. Violation of the Alcoholic Beverages Article, Section 4-505 F1, small Roman numeral 3, failure to present an up-to-date valid certificate on August 2nd, 2016. Violation of Rule 3.09B, restroom facilities and health regulations on August 2nd, 2016. Violation of Rule 3.01, ownership and operation on August 12th, 2016. And lastly, violation of Rule 4.05A, prohibited hours, on August 20th, 2016. All those individuals involved in the case, please step forward, be prepared to state your name and identify yourself, and be prepared to be sworn in if you're going to be giving testimony.
The chair notes that the licensee does not seem to have appeared today, and I just inquire about notice.
I'll hand down the notice. It was served by Inspector Chrysomalis on the back. You'll see the signatures, Mr. Chair, and the date of service.
Okay, so we have proper notice. Do you want to make a proffer about the violations?
Yes, sir. Chairman and Commissioners, I'll let Inspector Chris Miles, because he was in there initially on July. I'll let him just give a brief summary of.
You all need to be sworn if you're going to testify, so.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, just identify yourselves before you speak.
Inspector Chris Miles, Baltimore City Liquor Board.
Good morning, or afternoon.
How are you?
Good.
On or about July 6th, myself and Assistant Chief Inspector Tom Chronocolis went to the establishment located at 246 South Broadway in the city of Baltimore, state of Maryland. We originally went to the location to deliver correspondence from the board. While there, I performed a routine inspection because I had given the manager a verbal warning to obtain his 2016 traders, that I needed to see invoices and employee records. I had been there approximately 3 weeks prior. All three items were still not present and displayed at the time of the inspection. We advised the manager, Mr. Paz de Ramirez, identified by a Maryland employment card, with the assistance of the DJ who helped me translate for the inspectors the violations. The manager was cooperative. The inspectors exited the location.
You said Mr., but it says on our sheet Ms., I believe. Was it a man or a woman?
No, the manager was a woman,
Okay.
and the DJ was a male.
Okay, thanks.
And then is the 20th the next violation? Or do you have one before the 20th?
No, mine are in August.
August, yes.
Yeah, August 20th is my next
August 6th we had, or August 2nd.
Okay. because of the recent visit, Chief Mark Fossler, Baltimore City Liquor Board, and an anonymous complaint, we returned there on August 2nd. We found the place infested with insects. It was Inspector Clark and Inspector Perez and I. No current alcohol awareness certificate, no 2016 trader's license. The operator was instructed to obtain those things. We alerted the health department. They verified our allegations, and they issued, the health department on the 9th of August issued a violation for various issues. We returned there on August 12th, and there was a different operator. Each time we've been in this place, we've never been able to find the licensee. Each time we've received information from the operator at the time that I'm leasing the place. When I was there on August 2nd, the woman said she had paid a person named David money, and she was operating the place. When we returned on the 12th, we spoke to, this woman had left, and that Mr. Marlon Rivas was there. Mr. Marlon Antonio Reyes Rivas, identified through his license, and that he said that he had paid $25,000 to a quote-unquote attorney who wasn't an attorney but was a some kind of licensed broker. Explained to him at that time that the licensed broker can't give you a license. Only the liquor board can approve a transfer. So we issued violations for the various things that we had found, and then asked Inspector Christomalis to go by there again because we were unsatisfied with who was operating, and then he has something from the 20th of August.
When we were around August 20th, 2016, at approximately 0:10 hours, I, Inspector Christomalis, while working with Detective Gatto from the Baltimore City Vice Unit, visited the establishment known as Santa Ana, located at 246 South Broadway. The inspector and the detective had gone to the location because of complaints of social media advertising sent to me by citizens showing live entertainment without a license. The inspector and the detective arrived at the location. At the time that we arrived at the location, we got tied up at, I believe it was a different location, so we got there a little late. We got there after 1 o'clock. They have a 1 o'clock license. We still entered the location even though they were closed, and we observed 3 individuals sitting at the bar, 2 females and 1 male. Female number 1 had a Corona in her hand. Female number 2 had a bottle of Coors Light directly in front of her. There was also a female behind the bar bartending. Once we entered, female number 1 put the bottle down and pushed it towards the bartender. We identified ourselves. The manager/owner told us that the 3 individuals worked there and were not customers. I explained to the manager that that's still a violation. No one can be drinking after the time of allowed by the law. And I asked him for employee records to show that the 3 individuals worked there. He did not. He did have a few employee records, however, none for the 3 individuals that he stated were employees. We violated the licensee for operating during prohibited hours, and I gave him a verbal warning for not having employee records for the 3 individuals he claimed to be employees. At that time, myself and Detective Gatto exited the location. I don't know if Detective Gatto got information on the patients, but we typically don't identify the patients. If it's after hours, we just let them exit.
Do any of you other gentlemen have anything to add? Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
Are we clear that these people were served?
I personally served them.
You
yes.
personally served them, and there's no one here from the community either. But just the letter. Okay, we did receive a letter. Okay. You
Every
personally
time I
served-
go with any kind of correspondence, I had given them a warning prior to violating them for not having the stuff. But every time you give them a warning, it goes to a different individual, like the chief stated. So I don't know who's in charge of the place. I don't know, like I give a warning, when I go back as a different individual and they say, well, I never got the warning. I'm now the operator. So I really don't know.
No one's ever met Adan Martinez, I take it.
I believe I spoke to him on the phone, and the detective might have some notes.
Okay.
I was under the impression that the gentleman we met with on the 20th of August at 01:10 hours was Mr. Adam Martinez.
Uh-huh.
That's the way he portrayed himself to me as the licensee.
No.
And his wife was present with him at the time.
Okay.
This is who you probably met.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
So
they
again,
give us all kind of names.
So it is difficult to determine. So you said there was a letter? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I went behind you.
With pictures.
So there's a letter from the Fells Point Prospect Community Association complaining about this facility with pictures attached. Saying that they have major concerns. Since around mid-2014, residents, business operators in the surrounding area have noticed several issues, including midnight beer deliveries, alcohol deliveries in the early morning by friends of the establishment, illegal live entertainment, illegal dumping, and general nuisance issues, including fights, loud music, disruptive patrons, loitering, etc. And not that they were not good neighbors. So that'll be part of the record as well. Does anybody have anything further? On the basis of the evidence presented by the inspectors, the failure of the licensee to appear after being given proper notice, I note that there were prior violations in 12 and 15, although it looks like this license transferred, well, it couldn't have transferred in 12-16. So
Oh, yeah, there was a replacement
Oh.
page. Yeah, it was
So it transferred.
2005.
Oh, so this licensee's been responsible for all these violations, and I do, on the basis of the evidence, find violations of Rule 3.03A on July 6th, 3.03C on July 6th, Article Beverages Article 4505 F1 3 small i's on August 2, violation of Rule 3.09B on August 2. Violation of Rule 3.01 on August 12, and a violation of Rule 405A on August 20. And on the basis of all those violations and the bad history and the lack of any mitigation whatsoever, I would vote to revoke this license.
I agree. The fact that we've established proper service, and the licensee or licensees, whoever, it's sort of like they're playing hide the license here, fail to appear. I do agree in the finding of all of these violations. I mean, the worst for me is that you fail to appear to provide any mitigation, anything in defense to these violations. So that plus the letter and photographs from the Fells Prospect Association leads us to no other conclusion than to revoke this license immediately.
So this is one, in our 4.5 months on the board, this is perhaps one of the most egregious cases that have come before it, in my opinion. First, I want to say good job to the inspection staff. You were incredibly responsive with the 311 calls, and and the detective, Gatto, thank you for all your work and staying on top of it. I applaud you for it. I think also the written testimony submitted by the Community Association is quite compelling, and for those reasons, I too would support a revocation of the license.
So, ditto, gentlemen. I think we all appreciate the work that you do, and it's not easy, and particularly dealing with people who are totally uncooperative and unresponsive. So, thank you, and I think that concludes. Do you have the exhibit?
Oh, it's read the exhibits in the.
Yeah, we do. Do you want to go down and pick this up?
Sorry, give me one
Yes.
second.
This license needs to be picked up right now. Absolutely, I concur. So,
I'm just going to jump in the car and meet you guys over there.
I'm sorry, I need 1 second to get the exhibits.
She's just gonna read the exhibits into the record. I guess, do we need,
Signage for that, for permanent closure?
Yeah, yeah. You can just
Yeah, we'll get a sign, license.
just be careful.
Can't be a bit worse than these allergies. Whatever he does.
We're still on the
Well-
record. She's got to read the exhibits in. It's just 1
My
second.
apologies. Board exhibit number 1 is gonna be investigation report from Inspector Krista Malice. Board exhibit number 3 is gonna be investigation report from Inspector Krista Malice. Board exhibit number 4 is gonna be investigation report from Inspector Mark Foster and Andy Perez. Exhibit number 6 is gonna be invoices. Exhibit number 7 is invoices from Bond Distributing Company. Exhibit number 8 is gonna be a letter from Fells Prospect Community Association.
And there was just one exhibit that was skipped over, the liquor exhibit number 2, which is a report from Inspector Perez on the August 2nd and August 12th matter.
All right,
Thank you.
all right.
Does that conclude us, Mr. Akris?
Thank you very much.
That concludes our afternoon docket, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
We're adjourned.
We are adjourned.